Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, happy Monday, everybody, for those that went to Pier today and made a quick turnaround from the 3-hour car ride to the Senate meeting. We're all tired, but we're all here together, and I really appreciate your tenacity in this. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
All right, guys, since we just got back from SHUD, we're going to do this legislature style, so just be ready. Okay. Anderson, Bulwick, Bry, Excuse, Christoffel, Starrett, Foley, Holland, Campson, Catanum, Lopez, Mollison, Podell, Roca, Sharple, Schmidt, Shrestha, Siwa, Cody, Sleep, Smith, Wallen, Warfa, Excused, Diversity Liaison Alex, Communications Chair Ringenberg, Finance Chair Delahoyd, Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Chief of Staff Peterson here, Vice President Sierra, President Spear, AFA, AISA, BSA, GSA, Hero, Honors College, IRC, LASA, Excused, RHA, Unified Council, UPC, Advisors, Bylander, Schmidt, Willis.
Here.
That was great. So that was Shed. Now we'll move on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Senator Christoffels.
Move to waive the first reading of commemoration 25-4-.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to waive the first reading of commemoration 25-4-C. All those in favor of waiving the first reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is waived. Further additions or corrections to the agenda? By motion to approve, Senator Christoffels.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. Moving on to the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections from 2 weeks ago's minutes? All right. Is there a motion to approve? Senator Christoffels.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. All right, we have some exciting open forum guests today. We're going to start with our student organization constitution, beginning with the Spectrum Connection Club constitution. Please welcome up, guys.
I meant to do that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ali Weber. I'm the upcoming president of Spectrum Connection. And basically, our club is designed to support those on campus with autism and kind of grow the community and understanding around that by hosting events that are led by people with autism and allowing them to make new connections on campus in our community. So mainly what we're doing right now is we're hosting one event every 2 weeks that is planned and led by somebody with autism in our group. And basically, it just allows people to have an open and welcoming space in a low-pressure, low-stimulation environment that allows for socialization and discovering of new interests and friends. So that's the idea of our club. Any questions?
How do you differ from a club like Best Buddies that does something very similar to this?
Yeah, so this is actually kind of a subset of the Lucas P. Wintrode Autism Support Services, and basically the idea is that it is led with this by the students with autism and kind of grown around that. It's separate to Best Buddies in the sense that it's not as much of a time commitment and that it's a little more flexible for those who are involved. Go ahead.
It looks like you have dues here. Like, how much is the dues for this club?
We actually don't have any dues listed, I believe.
It's like under treasurer, it says like one of the responsibilities to collect dues. So
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may, Senator
Yeah.
Roca, that actually is usually every constitution, just in change they were to in the future have a due, they wouldn't have to amend it.
That was in the template, by the way. Yeah. Go ahead.
How many members do you guys have interested so far?
Yeah, so currently we generally have a group of anywhere from 6 to 12 people that generally come to each event. But in terms of the overall interest in our club, we have more than 30. And that'll continue to grow as we gain resources such as access to Jack's Club Hub and advertising around campus as well. Yeah, go ahead.
One more question.
Mhm.
what are like some of the ideas of like activities that you guys have planned for the
Sure. Yeah, so today what we had was actually a jigsaw puzzle day where we all got together and built a jigsaw puzzle for those that were interested. And then if people wanted to be there but not necessarily socializing directly, we also had coloring pages on the side. Different accommodations like that are usually considered for a lot of our events. But we also have, in the past, we've had a Dance Dance Revolution night. We've had a D&D night. We've had a music appreciation night, origami night, lots of different ideas generated by members of our club that are able to share their interests in a low-stress environment.
Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Is there a motion to approve? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I'll move to approve the constitution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Finance Chair Delahoyd, first right to debate.
I think this is a great organization that really has a lot of use here on campus and can really help support those that are in need of that and just need that little help with connection and stuff, especially for those that have autism. So I think this is a really great program, and I think we should approve this constitution.
Further discussion? All right, we'll move this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call?
Senators Anderson?
Aye.
Bollweg? Bry?
Aye.
Chris-
Proxy.
yeah,
Proxy, aye.
there you go. Christoffels?
Aye.
Darrench?
Aye.
Foley? Holland?
Aye.
Campson?
Aye.
Cattanall?
Aye.
Lopez? Mollison?
Aye.
Hoddell?
Aye.
Roca?
Aye.
Garpel Schmidt?
Aye.
Shrestha?
Aye.
Siwa Cody?
Aye.
Sleep?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Wallen?
Aye.
Warfa? Abstains. Finance Chair Delahoyd?
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson, aye. Vice President Zero.
The ayes have it, and the Spectrum Connection Club Constitution is approved. Alrighty, moving on to open forum item B, the HERO annual budget presentation. As they walk up again, just want to remind everyone that these are clubs that are already on our general budget that are giving them overall summary of their past year and how they have used GAP dollars.
Hello again, everybody. If you don't remember me, my name is Jada Paul. I am one of the co-presidents for HERO. HERO stands for Helping Everyone Reach Optimal Health. We are an extension of the SDSU Miller Wellness Center here on campus, so we are a group of peer health educators whose focus is to promote health and well-being of all aspects for all students on campus and in the Brookings community.
Yeah.
We do have about 150 members who are interested in our club, both through our email list and our Jack's Club Hub. And then we have about 35 to 40 members who actively show up to our events. So yeah, we meet every other Tuesday at 7 o'clock at night. This last fall, our major events included our Welcome Back Dance, which was over move-in weekend. We had a sunset yoga at McCrory Gardens and then a self-defense class. This semester, we're doing another self-defense class. We're going to have a pickleball night. And then our first meeting is tomorrow night, and we're getting into the New Year's resolution mindset and doing some health and wellness goal planning. As far as our finances go, this is kind of what we looked at for this past year. This year, Lindsay and I, our other co-president, we worked really hard to grow this club, and so with the increase in attendance, we're putting on more events that cost a little bit more money than we have in the past. So this last year, we worked really hard to fundraise as much as possible. The SA allocation that we got last year, we put all of that towards that Welcome Back Dance, so the DJ, supplies, food, all of that. So that was a great use of that. We appreciate that. And then we are, I believe, requesting $2,500 this year. As far as our student impact goes, our impact is for all students here at SDSU. We try to open all of our events to everybody here on campus. We try to bring in as many health professionals as we can on campus to help talk about health and safety topics, along with just other wellness topics in general. With that, we also try to encourage students to reach out to any SDSU resources that might seem helpful to them, and we direct them to those resources. And then Hero events also allow students to meet people with similar interests, hobbies, health goals, mindsets, anything like that. So, yeah. Are there any questions?
All good?
Thank you, guys.
All right. Moving on to open forum item C, the AISA annual presentation.
Hello, all. I am the president of the American Indian Student Association. With me, I have our treasurer, Michael Hall. He'll be going over the finance part. Yeah. Currently, we have 40 student members, 2 advisors. Our active members are 35. The meeting details, it's weekly on Thursdays from 6 to 7. Our major yearly activities is the Every Child Matters event, Missing and Murdered Indigenous People, and our annual Watu Wachipi. And I will let him go.
And for our finances, you can see that we last requested around $10,000, got for this $500. That was really beneficial for our Wachipi. And if you look at our outline of funding uses, a lot of our funding does go to our Wachipi. It's a huge event that we need as much help as we can to put on. Meeting $776. That's just for helping with expenses for any activities or meals we would like to put on. And for Every Child Matters and MMIR, those are more low key, I'd say, but we still try to put on as much as we can for the student body population. And then just to note that for the next request we have $5,000 just to help cover with our fees and our security for our next Wachipi event. Yep.
Thank you. For our student impact, our main try here is to let everybody know they have a safe space to come to. So it's a safe and welcoming environment for students to come together. Education of Indigenous culture and current impacts on Indigenous communities. So basically what's going on in the world in our culture and everything like that. Celebrations of indigeneity and community. And we also provide home-cooked meals. Our club is not only just for American Indian students. We have about 5 members that are not descendants nor enrolled in tribes. Any questions? Yes.
You have a date for the Wachipi this year?
Yes, it's March 28th and 29th. This year will actually be the first year we're hosting an Indigenous fashion show as well. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
All right. Moving on to open forum item D, the Formula SAE annual GAF presentation.
Could you just send the presentation to Dominic or just? We have a list of that as well. Sorry about that.
GSA, have you sent your presentation yet?
We're sending it in right now.
Just check it.
Right, hello everyone. We are Wild Hair Racing, also known as Formula SAE. I am Riley Gill, the president, and
And I'm Katie McPherson, the treasurer.
So what is Formula SAE? We are a collegiate competition where we design, build, and race a small-scale Formula race car. We design and manufacture a new car from the ground up each year, entirely composed of students. And then we go and race the car at international competition where we compete against the top colleges around the world. So what does our competition look like? It's usually held in Brooklyn, Michigan at the NASCAR track. There's many dynamic and static events, which include a tech inspection to make sure our car is safe to compete and race in, acceleration event, which is like a quick drag strip, skid pad, which is like a figure eight, just to test our lateral Gs. There's an autocross course, which is like a quick 1-minute lap, and then there's an endurance course to test the car's durability and reliability on a 10-mile track.
Looking at membership for the team, we are luckily growing year over year. This year we have 14 new members, up from the 12 from last year, and our average attendance is 24 students, up to 22 students from last year. We are also bringing 4 more kids to competition this spring for a total of 19 students. We love to get involved in the community and do a lot of public engagement. We go to many different parades, such as the Hobo Day Parade. We do one day for state, go to a lot of different car shows and volunteering opportunities through the College of Engineering, and as well as going to different high schools and giving off presentations. Looking at previous year's GAF funding, last year we requested $12,000 and we got $2,800 allocated to us. We are trying to use the funding to fund this year's competition costs. Our competition fees this year are $2,900. Our lodging is a little over $7,000. The travel is a little over $4,000 for a total of $14,373. We're looking for SA to cover our competition fees and travel costs for the school vehicles, as well as 50% of the lodging fees, as they increased dramatically due to the recent rule regarding 1 person for each bed, for a total of almost $11,000. Looking at our total budget for the club, this year's income is almost $50,000, including the $10,000 we're hoping to get from the allocation fund, and our expenditures are almost $57,000 for a negative balance of almost $7,000. We're looking to make up this balance by reaching out, try to get more sponsorship money, but ultimately if we can't, we'll have to use old used parts that will negatively impact us at competition.
So going what students get out of our club, they get real engineering experience. They get to design a part on their own, build it, test it, and iterate it to make it better, lighter, or just improve the compatibility of other components in the car. They also build connections and their resume as well. I, for one, have been reached out from SpaceX because of my Formula SE experience. Other team members have gotten interviews from Tesla, Ford, GM, big automotive and aerospace companies also reach out through this competition. Along with that, it's also a big project, so there's a lot of project managing experience and leadership experience that the members get. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I believe last year, according to my minutes, you guys started with a negative balance. It wasn't significant, but there was just a little bit of a budget discrepancy. How are you guys working to alleviate that, and are you happening to do that again this year?
I guess mostly, especially with our departments, we ask for a certain amount and they give us a little less than we need, and they always say, like, if you run into any issues or need some more financial support, that we can go back to them. So they helped us clear that negative balance.
Any questions? Thank you.
And our final presentation for the night in open forum is open forum item E, the GSA annual presentation.
Hello, my name is Blue. Some of you may know me as B. Some of you may know me as the ex officio who was for GSA for 2 years. I still hold that title proud. They wouldn't give it back to me, unfortunately, this year. All right, well, we are the GSA, the Gender and Sexualities Alliance. Join me is my ex officio, Kaylee. All right, so currently, what is GSA? Well, I mean, do we have the description in here? We do. The student back is in there. Okay. So currently, our number of members, we have 159 people on our email list, and our active members is about 28 people. We crowd the SEC quite a bit. We meet weekly on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. in the Student Engagement Center. If you don't know where that is, it is just right over there, just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Major yearly activities and events, we do the drag show, we do the paint and sip with Lassa, as well as the clothing drive, which is going to be coming up this spring break, and then we also do the trivia night. Unfortunately, if you guys were looking forward to the karaoke night, that did get canceled due to inclement weather, but please stay tuned as we are planning on rescheduling that for another night, so keep your emails open and your ears up. Here are our finances. The numbers aren't going to be too accurate just because we are having a bit of technology issues with our numbers, but they are pretty there. So as you can see, numbers have gone up just because prices have gone up. We did spend a little bit too much last year on the drag show, but that's just because we wanted to bump up security and other expenses got in the way. We are looking to get a little bit less this year. We are looking to spend less as we are going to be bumping down some of our events in overall size and capacity just because a lot of our numbers have gone down for attendance in some of our bigger events, but I don't know if that's just due to weather or if that's due to students getting overall higher number or students getting more homework this year. I know I've gotten a lot more homework. We don't really pay salaries or student labor. Operations, the main thing we budget for is the drag show. That is our big thing every year. I unfortunately did not get to attend this year. I was sick with the flu for a week, but from the images I saw and from what I heard from my other club members, I believe we did very, very well. I think we made, what, $1,500 on tickets this year? Roughly $1,500 on tickets? Yeah. We sold a lot of tickets. Student impact, our organization creates a safe space on campus where those in the community and allies who are wanting to join us can come together and learn about our history and connect with one another through activities, games, and learning experiences. If you are familiar with our events, we do play a lot of Gartic phones, so we do blend in a lot of our artists. Our biggest activities like the drag show and the karaoke night bring together students in the community in a fun and welcoming environment. I know the drag show is our biggest night and it's what we look forward to every year and we plan for every year. I'm still going to be going to it even after I graduate because unfortunately this will be my last year as president and as a student of South Dakota State University. But that's our presentation. Any questions, comments, concerns?
So in your budget, you had student labor and salaries, but you said you don't really pay those out. So is that not something you have in there anymore?
I think it's just from the template we pulled it from. I don't know how that got in there, to be honest.
To be quick follow-up, so you guys don't pay any of your executive team members nor have any like salaried employees or?
No.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think we just pulled this stuff from a template and it accidentally got copy pasted over when we copy pasted. So that is my mistake. We do not pay. That is false numbers. That is our mistake. Our numbers are kind of all over the place because we looked last year, or we looked in our older requests and the numbers didn't match. They were like halved for some reason. So we're currently experiencing some technical difficulties. Lee is out sick, so we kind of had to scrabble together with what we had. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you guys.
All right, moving on to our last open forum item F, public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the Senate tonight? Anyone online? All right. Moving on to committee and staff reports, beginning with my own. I want to thank you guys for my hectic behavior today. Apparently my shoes are a little slippery. So I'm going to try to keep my report quick today. We obviously went to SHED again. I appreciate everyone that went. Government Affairs Chair Hunt will report some more details on that. We met with President Dunn on Friday as well as Vice President Willis. We talked about the Briggs Library renovation coming up for for 2027/28 and just kind of the prospects of what that planning is currently looking like. He also gave us some really good feedback on that parking survey we had talked about last semester. That's still something that I'm loosely working on with parking. Vice President Sierra and I have a meeting with the parking people on Wednesday to talk some more about that survey, so I hope to give you guys an update on that next week's meeting. Wesley and I were also supposed to attend a Brookings Day at the Capitol. Unfortunately, due to the inclement weather, we were unable to go. I believe that day is getting rescheduled, so I hope that lines up with our schedules and we're able to attend. In addition, he gave us some good feedback on current projects that we're working on, as well as we asked for some more reassurance and kind of updates on their UPD situation and how that planning and reorganization is going. We got some really good acknowledgments that they're working the best they possibly can, using as many resources as possible, and we hope to get a representative at the Senate coming up soon to give us some more details on that in February. In addition, there will be some pieces of legislation pertaining to SDSU, specifically getting approval for the new swine unit and the soccer stadium that will have to go through the legislator. In addition, we're still doing one-on-ones. I believe I have everyone's but 2 scheduled. So again, these meetings are really important for us to sit down and have a chat about your goals, our goals, and how we can better help each other and work as a team. So thank you for everyone that's given us some good feedback during that. Again, very successful like last semester. Kind of a side note, I went to the nursing induction ceremony on Friday. So all of our nurses, maybe not in the room, but I just want to congratulate you and extend a hand. That's a really big accomplishment. So proud of that. And then also, what everyone's been waiting for, the GAF update. Our goal, if you're not familiar, is a 2,500 student response with a 75 yes approval. Right now, we are currently at 1,775 students with an 86% approval rate. We have tabling planned this week, and all of you guys have access to the tabling sign up. So what we should all do is sign up for tabling whenever we can. It's also very loose, so if you're just walking by in the union and you haven't signed up, that's okay. It's just handing out flyers and getting students aware of the GAF vote. We're also currently working on attending some of those big lecture halls like first-year seminar classes, but also emailing. There was an email from the provost that went to faculty today, and we got a pretty good boost from that as well. So extending a thank you for that. We will still plan on closing it on Friday, but we need roughly 800 more votes. So I think we can all really, really push. Again, the sooner we get to 2,500, the sooner we don't have to table anymore, even though I know we all love tabling. So please just donate anytime you can. I know we're all going to work hard on it, and I appreciate you guys. Very briefly, we met with the provost on the 15th of January. I learned that in administration, January is a very busy month due to just some general annual reviews always lying in the spring. They also have accreditation visits for various schools, including theater, School of Design, and then Master in Public Health. There's also working on, in conjunction with the U.S.'s 250th birthday this summer, how the university is planning on marketing that and what direction they're going. And then if we're not aware again, they're still working on the work groups via the Board of Regents, those being the faculty compensation work group as well as instructional workload that the provost is sitting on. And then kind of an exciting update, and then I'll hand it out to Vice President Sierra. The Sioux Falls Metro Center is on target to finish for fall of 26. If you're not familiar, that is for the nursing, pharmacy, and I believe respiratory care, med lab sciences maybe, in Sioux Falls. End of report, Vice President Sierra.
Yep, thank you to everybody who was able to make it to SHED. We heard from some pretty great speakers both last night and today. Pretty cool to see. You got to see kind of committee meetings, how those kind of typically work, and how a typical student federation meeting runs most of the time. Let's see. We do have open seats for a few committees. If any of you guys would like to go a little bit above and beyond and see some action, the Government Affairs Committee will be meeting a few times this semester. We have 2 to 3 open seats on that right now. They usually meet in the evenings, Thursdays, tentatively, but we kind of switch it as needed. 1 open seat in parking and traffic. Those are the 3rd Thursday of every month, from 2 to 3 p.m., 3:30. 1 diversity and inclusion committee seat, 1 academic appeals seat, and 1 seat for the wellness advisory committee. So there's a few open seats we have. If you guys would like to kind of see what some other committees look like, let me know. I can sign up. I'll send this out in an email probably later tonight or tomorrow, as well, just reminding you. Another update, just a reminder, the general election timeline, the slate will open on February 9th and then close March 2nd. Those are for nominations for president and vice president. The senator applications, it's a similar process to at-larges. You just need 50 signatures from your actual college to be in the general election as a senator candidate. So it's a little different than at-large where you just need 50 at-large signatures. We'll have a debate on March 23rd. The election will be Tuesday and Wednesday, March 24th and 25th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then the transition is looking to be April 13th for that. So just a reminder, if you're thinking about rerunning, if you're not and you're a senior, please come see me after the meeting. You'll most likely be chosen to sit on the elections steering committee. It has to be, it's board of directors, people who are not rerunning, so we'll probably just do seniors and any of those that are confident they're not gonna rerun this year. We just kind of help patrol and watch over the election process. With that, that's all I have.
Chief of Staff Peterson?
Yes, so again, to echo what they've already said, thank you to everyone who attended SHED. It was a lot of fun. I think this was a really good year. We had some really good speakers, like Vice President Sierra said. I am currently, if you guys didn't notice, I was taking videos all weekend, and it was probably really annoying, but I'm making a really cool reel so that everyone can see how much fun we had. So don't laugh at me. So it's gonna be really cool, so look out for that. I also posted, we took a picture with the governor, and I posted that on Instagram, so go like that, because that's a good picture. And I did receive an email about the Little International that I want to share with everybody. The 103rd Little International is going to be on March 27th and March 28th. If you don't know what that is, ask Vice President Sierra, he'll explain it to you. And so there are a lot of opportunities with this. There is the High Point Club, there's team fitting, general livestock showing, lamb lead, volunteering, etc. So if you wish to participate in any of those activities, they are having a livestock drawing on this Wednesday, January 28th at 7 p.m. in Rotunda D. So if you're interested in any of those things or want to know anything about Little International, go to that meeting. Or you can ask me. And also, we are looking for someone to do lamb lead for Student Association because someone always does. So if you really want to learn how to lead a lamb, please volunteer. It's a lot of fun. If you know absolutely nothing about it, that's okay. You can do it. They teach you. A lot of people do it that have never done it before. So that's kind of the point of Little International. Not completely, but kind of. So if you are interested in that, please do that. We need somebody to do that for us. And then also, there are posters in the office that need hung up. Some of them have been. We have GAF posters and we have student feedback form posters. So please help us out with that because there are only so many of us and we cannot get to every single building on campus. You don't have to take a lot. Even 2 of them helps. So those are in the office on the window wall thingy. So take a GAF poster and a feedback form poster and mark off on the list where you're taking it so that we know that it has already been there, I believe. I don't know what buildings that they're already in. All I know is Rotunda. So there's a few buildings they're already in, but please just take those and hang them up this week so that we can get the GAF posters hung up. And that's the end of my report.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Last week was a lot of very, very late nights, but everything for Budget Marathon is done. It has been sent out to all the clubs. They should have all their stuff. We have 28 clubs this year that'll be coming to present, and so it'll be a long day. So if you're on Budget Committee, we're starting to meet, or Finance Committee, we're starting to meet for some of those. But all those emails are done. Everybody has their resources. So if you're in a club that's on our general budget you did not receive, please come talk to me as soon as possible. Something went wrong. Other than that, that's the end of my report.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt.
So I'll reiterate what the majority of our other execs said. Thank you to all who attended SHED. We did have a great turnout this year. Again, we heard from some amazing speakers like the Lieutenant Governor and then Secretary of State. And I saw a lot of you guys talking to legislators and lobbying today. So thank you for that. Anyone who's on Government Affairs Committee, we will be meeting Thursday at 7. I just sent out an email for that. We'll be discussing House Bill 1133, which many of you heard about this week when we were at the Capitol. And then Student Promotion Fund Committee, you guys will also be meeting this week on Wednesday at noon.
Communications Chair Ringenberg.
The rabbit report went out this morning containing the GAP survey link for the second week. I attended SHED yesterday and today and had a great time. It was very fun. Thanks everybody for attending. I'll be sending out a new poll for new senator headshots since none of the last times worked very well. These will hopefully take place later this week. End of report.
Diversity Liaison Alex.
Last week I attended the Human Rights Commission meeting where I talked about like what we've been doing here. Students Association, like regarding the GAF process. Also at this meeting, like the Brookings Police Department liaison reported like what's been going on recently with like Operation Prairie Thunder and Brookings. She also gave an update of our new interim police chief. And regarding Black History Month, the Human Rights Commission is planning on collaborating with the Black Students Alliance to put a historical marker labeled in the Green Book here in Brookings. And for those who don't know what the Green Book is, it was basically something that was used during the Jim Crow era of segregation, so that African Americans who were navigating or traveling knew where it was safe to go. And we actually have one here in Brookings, and we are planning on putting a historical marker there. And the Tunnel of Awareness will be next week, Tuesday, in the VBR from 11 a.m. to 2. And the Diversity and Inclusion Committee will be meeting this week, Thursday.
Moving on to ex officios, beginning with AFA. AISA.
We will be having Indian Taco Cell tomorrow at 11 a.m. So I hope a lot of you guys can come to that. We'll be at the American Indian Center. We'll be going till we're sold out. We're going to be having our weekly meeting this week as our What to What Chippy, or I don't remember the name of it, but it'll be a weekly or monthly scholarship dinner. I believe everyone's welcome to. And then Alejandro already brought it up, but we'll be having a Indigenous fashion show at our annual What to What Chippy this year. Report.
BSA.
We had a good time at the MLK rally and parade, and then we also had a BSA meeting on Thursday last week, and that was pretty fun. Played games, and then that's pretty much it in the report.
GSA.
So like last week, as it was said, we had our karaoke night canceled due to the weather, and we're planning to reschedule that soon. Otherwise, we'll just be having our weekly meeting on Wednesday and report.
Hero?
We have our first event tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and we're going to do health and wellness goal planning. We're discussing other ways to prioritize our health for the year and a report.
IRC?
So we had our first event on Saturday. We had about 20 people show up. And yeah, it was just a meet and greet social kind of event. and we plan to have our next event sometime around Valentine's Day period. Myself personally don't fancy those type of events, but yeah, since you sit on a board with all girls, man, you don't have a choice. Yeah, and the report.
Honors College.
Our Honors College Student Organization had its first executive board meeting of the semester, so be on a lookout for a Valentine's Day event. And then tomorrow, January 27th, there is a Toasty Tuesday professional development workshop put on by the Honors College, and that will be at 8:30 p.m. You can work with some of the career development staff as well as other honor staff and students, practice your elevator pitch, enjoy some toast, get your CV or your resume looked at as well. So, end of report.
LASA. RHA.
We approved funding for a sponsorship with the Spike Club and then another Suffolk Blush event. We had one of those back in December. That was pretty well attended. That one will be more tentatively held on, I think, February 12th is what we're thinking about doing. We're also likely we're beginning to prepare tabling just to get more resident feedback. We're also arranging more information about our regional business conference that is coming up at the end of February, where we travel down to Missouri just to meet with a bunch of other residence halls across the region. End of report.
Unity Council.
Fraternity Life has been very active in the community recently. All chapters holding their recruitment events last week and going to the end of this week. Participation's been really strong in those, which is nice. I've been to a bunch of them myself. And chapters hopefully will bid new members at the end of this week, helping grow Greek life here. So that's about it. Report.
Unity Council.
Same as well, CPH has, has been in the middle of recruitment season as well. We have a recruitment event this Tuesday from 7 to 9 in the Hobo Day room. And then we also had our FSL retreat last Wednesday, which allowed kind of all of our leaders in the FSL community to come together, kind of learn more about each other's leadership styles and also plan for this semester. And then we are also excited to take 4 students from the FSL community as well as our advisor to the AFLV conference in Indianapolis this weekend. So, end of report.
And UPC.
So our first event, Beat the Winter Blues, was this last Friday, and that went really well, and we had like around 75 people attend. Now our next event is after hours at the Art Museum. That's this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. It'll be at the South Dakota Art Museum, and there will be mocktails, snacks, speed sketching, and music. Then there's going to be a craft that the art club planned. And you can also bring any activity that you're currently working on. End of report.
Moving on to advisors. Advisor Bylander.
Report.
Advisor Schmidt.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys all had a good time at Shed. One of the things I'm hearing from all of the exec team is all of the various things that you guys have to do, whether it's tabling, hauling posters, volunteering for a committee. I think as I listen, the expectation is that every senator needs to pitch in. If possible, I strongly encourage you to do that. It's gonna be more than just your minimum 2 hours of office and 2 committees, I think, because there's a lot of work to do. So if everybody just puts in a little bit of time, does 1 thing or 2 things, I think the workload will be well distributed. So I'd encourage you all to think about that, grab a poster on your way out, sign up for a tabling time if you have some time. I think that would help out everybody and make the work a lot lighter, average for everybody. End of report.
Advisor Willis.
Yeah, to build on Advisor Schmidt's report, why do you serve? Why do you serve on committees? That is your opportunity as a member of the student body. Not every student gets the opportunities you do as senators to be a part of decision making at the university. And so that's a big role of your committee service, is to bring a student voice to the table, advocate for what students are interested in and what students want, and really be a part of the conversation about things that are important to you with regards to the student experience. It might also be bringing important issues to the table or topics that you can really provide that student experience for. And so as you think about the committees that are vacant, some of the opportunities that we bring forward, or Students Association is asked to recommend a student for. You're being asked because you have raised your hand and said, I want to represent the students across this university at this table. But it's more than just being at this table. It's about getting out and engaging with faculty and staff and administration and representing the students that that are counting on you to bring their voice forward. And so, as Dr. Schmidt said, I would look at this as an opportunity to really get your voice out there, develop some leadership skills, develop some advocacy skills. It's really a lot of fun, and we love to have you at the table and hear from you what you want to see different or better at this university. And the way you do that is to sit on these committees and volunteer for these ad hoc groups. And if you bring a resolution forward that you have a specific priority as a Senate, volunteer to serve on that Students Association task force or temporary committee. Because your voice, that's how you get your voice out there, and that's how you create the changes that the students have elected you and have advocated for you to sit at this table to represent. And so I would really encourage you to think about why you're around this table, why do you want to be here, and how can you then serve the students that you represent by being a part of these committees. If we don't get volunteers from this body, we're going to start going to other groups and asking them to serve instead. And this is your role. And I think you all want to be at the table. And so consider how you can raise your hand and serve. I know you're all busy, and I know you have important classes and challenging coursework, but reflect on why you wanted to be at this table, and then figure out opportunities to give back and serve and make sure your voices are heard. Really love to see all those committees filled and people raising their hands when we need volunteers to represent your voice. So, new topic. Want to say really good job to the Finance Committee. I love the student organization reports this year. They are very well structured and organized, and I feel like you are all getting great information from your student organizations, probably better than I've seen in 10 years serving at this table with you. And so kudos to you for the work that you're doing on that. As a Senate body, I want to maybe give a little bit of advice because we have a lot of new senators around the table. When we have student organizations come to present, like we did tonight, we had 4 student organizations come to present. It's okay to ask questions, but you may not know what questions to ask. No questions are silly, but I want to give you a few ideas that might help dig into that, and that's why these student organizations are here. They're here to share what they're doing with the resources that you've allocated and how they're impacting the university and students. And so you could ask things like, what's your favorite part about being in this organization? How do you benefit the overall student experience as a student organization? Maybe you want to know what their current goals are for this year and what they've achieved and what they have left to achieve for this year. What have you learned about leadership in your roles? They're usually presidents and finance chairs that are coming up to present to you. So ask them about how they've grown as a leader this year. Maybe ask about how they fundraise to support the organization. What are the types of fundraisers they do, and how can you support them in those fundraisers as students? So those are some things, those are just a few ideas of questions that you can be thinking about and asking those student organizations as they come to present to you. And then we also approved a new student organization today. We've done that a few different times. That's also an opportunity for you to learn more and ask questions. You have a few veteran senators that raise their hand and ask great questions every time, but any of you around this table can get engaged and ask those questions. Some things you might think about asking new student organizations wanting your support. How many students do you have interested in your organization? That's always a standard that you guys should be asking every time. How will you get the word out about your new student organization to students that aren't aware of you. What are your goals for your first year? Maybe what are you most excited about for your new student organization? They don't have to be hard or detailed bylaw questions. They can just be, what are you looking forward to with this? What are your goals? Those types of things. So I thought this was a good opportunity to just share some ideas with you so that when we do have student organizations come to request recognition or to just present their annual presentation to you about what they're doing, by asking questions, you show that you're interested in what they're doing and engaged and listening. And so think about what are some questions that you might have. If nobody else asks a question, raise your hand and ask something. So type up a few that you might pull out and use when different groups come and present. Because that's also part of your role, is to show your student organizations that you're interested and active and engaged. So that's some advice that I have for you as you go into this spring semester and welcome more individuals to present to you. But hopefully that's helpful, especially with the new senators around the table. But really want you to be active and engaged. And if you have priorities that you join this body for, start writing resolutions and work with some of those more experienced senators around the table to write a resolution and bring it forward, or a commemoration, or whatever that might look like. And those senators that have been around this table for a while, if you're thinking about a resolution, maybe pull a few new senators in when you're talking about it so they understand what it's like and what that process looks like. So with that, end of report.
Committees. Are there any committees that would like to report out tonight? Senator Christoffels.
All right, guys, big news. I won the cup last week at Parking and Traffic. It's teal. It is colorful. I forgot it because I came straight from Shed, but it will be here next week. So prep yourselves for that. You might want to wear sunglasses. It's pretty bright, but it's awesome. Parking and Traffic is getting closer to finalizing their ride-along program. Right now, it's just for staff. A few people have gone on it, but they're getting closer and closer to finalizing that, and then they're looking to take a few people on that. So more information once it's completely finalized. They've reintroduced off-street parking. There has been 6 new mobile pay spots added. They're just waiting for signage to get those fully set up, and that might be completed as of now because this was meeting 2 weeks ago. And then they are starting a new flyer system. So if you're a visitor on campus, instead of giving them a warning, which sends kind of like a bad message to visitors on campus, they're actually just putting out flyers that are a little bit more welcoming and to our visitors, so that way they're not scared off by a big parking ticket. We never want to come back to campus. We want people on the campus. We want people enjoying SDSU. So that was a big thing that they've reintroduced. End of report.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Finance Committee met last week, week 1, but we had some clubs that we really needed to get through before the general budget and before some stuff. So we have both Ping Pong Club and Flying Jacks that we have theirs on the docket tonight, and so those are the 2 that we approved from that Finance Committee this last week. And so the Finance Committee will not be meeting regularly at this point because we do not have any additional requests that we have received that are completed yet. We know that Cafes has reached out, the Prexy Council, and they're looking at applying. They have not submitted that yet, so we may be meeting there for that. But otherwise, we will meet the 2 weeks before Budget Marathon, which is February 27th and 28th, for anybody wondering. So the meeting after that, 2 weeks after that, we will have the general budget in front of the Senate. And so we are hoping to have that before spring break. So running our timeline, hoping to have the general budget through UAFBC by spring break.
Further committees. Senator Christoffels.
Sorry guys, I forgot. I have one more committee to report out to. Added this one to my schedule a little late. It's diploma. Basically, you guys didn't hear, there was a little mix up with diplomas last year. Aside from that, they're looking at getting a new font. Basically, the V's look very much like V's, so we're getting a lot of diplomas sent back asking for reprints because there's a difference in font. So we're looking at a new font. We're also looking at updating the diplomas because they're all kind of the same font right now. We want to add a few things. one of those things being majors, so right now it doesn't put your major when you get your diploma, it basically just says what your degree is in. So we're looking to add those and trying to see logistically how it's gonna work if you're double majoring or maybe even triple majoring, because there is one triple major this year that we found out. There will be no honors, as far as, like medallions. We figured that was pretty proficient for recognizing honors, but we will be doing Latin honors still, so like summa cum laude, we'll still be doing that. And then next meeting, we're gonna have a mock-up, with the font and those 3 majors to kind of see how it's gonna work, so. More updates later. End of report.
Other committees?
Just to be clear, we will still have honors medallions. We just won't recognize honors distinction on your diploma,
The honors
correct?
will not be on the diplomas, we figured honors medallion, that's pretty out there, so.
Any other committees? All right, moving on to questions. Any questions for any of the reports tonight? Senator Christophels, I have one for you. Do you know who has been specifically invited to the ride-along program? I know they had talked about doing some administration, but also just general faculty as well.
I believe, which one was that? Who's in charge of parking and traffic?
I don't know, but you can get back to me on that.
The gentleman in charge of parking and traffic, he,
Derek Peterson?
Nope. Well, yes, he went on one as well.
Okay.
But there have been a few, mainly just the heads of parking and traffic.
Okay.
So, but they're looking to open it to more people, so be on the lookout for that opportunity in the future.
I have a question for Christophels. What is the ride-along program?
So basically, we've been getting in a lot of trouble with, people who give out tickets because nobody likes a ticket. So they're trying to do, a ride-along program where you can hang out with somebody who hands out tickets for the day and kind of see what their day-to-day looks like, get a little bit more personal with them, make them seem more like a person and less like, you know, somebody evil giving you a ticket. We want them to seem more personable and, have less interactions, bad interactions between them and students, so.
Further questions for any of the reports tonight? All right, move on to unfinished business. With our amended agenda, we do have item A on unfinished business commemoration 25-4-C. Chief Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item whenever you're ready?
Commemoration 25-4-C. Prime sponsor is Diversity Liaison Alex. Sponsors include President Spear, Vice President Sierra, Chief of Staff Peterson, Finance Chair Delahoyd, Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Communications Chair Ringenberg, and Senators Anderson, Mollison, Christophels, and Katanam. Title of commemoration reads, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes January 27th as the International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust to bring awareness to the event that impacted and is still impacting many people around the world.
Is there anyone that would request this item be read in full? Senator Christophels. Chief Staff Peterson.
Commemoration 25-4-C. Title of commemoration reads, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes January 27th as the International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust to bring awareness to the event that impacted and is still impacting many people around the world. Whereas the Holocaust was the genocide of European Jews as well as LGBTQ+, Black people, people with disabilities, and many other people from different backgrounds and ideologies, and is one of the gravest tragedies to have happened in human history. And whereas the Holocaust took place from 1941 to 1945, but even after over 80 years, many people around the world are still feeling the effects of the atrocity due to the acts of anti-Semitism, bigotry, and violence. And whereas educating ourselves about the Holocaust is important and a responsibility so that we know the history of this event, to honor not only the victims and survivors, but to reaffirm their resilience and perseverance in today's society. And whereas the annual Tunnel of Awareness will be taking place in the Volsdorf Ballroom on February 3rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., where several student organizations will be talking about the effects of the Holocaust and bringing awareness to it. And whereas the International Day is a global reminder of the dangers of hatred, bigotry, and anti-Semitism. The day is a call to remember, reflect, and take action to ensure such atrocities never happen again. Therefore, be it commemorated, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes January 27th as the International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust by bringing awareness, whether it be by attending the Tunnel of Awareness or by learning more about it through other sources.
Is there a motion to approve? Finance Chair Delahoy.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
It has been moved to waive discussion on this item. However, I would request our diversity liaison, Alex, does have some discussion. Finance Chair Delahoy, would you mind amending your motion?
I move to approve this item.
Second.
All right. It has been moved and seconded. Further discussion. Diversity liaison, Alex.
Yeah, so I brought forth this commemoration to recognize the International Day of the Commemoration of Victims and Survivors of the Holocaust because, as many of you know, the Holocaust was a very pivotal and tragic event in history, and it's still affecting a lot of people, and it affected a lot of people. In the commemoration, as you heard, there will be an event next week, Tuesday, on the 3rd, where some student organizations will be talking about like the effects of the Holocaust and just what it did and how just how certain people are persevering through that. I encourage all of you guys to attend just to learn more about the event and because like it is our responsibility to know our history, not only to just be informed about it, but just so history doesn't repeat itself. And it would reaffirm many people's perseverance in a society that can be divided at times. And yeah. Thank you.
Further discussion. All right. Seeing none, we will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson.
Vice President Sierra.
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson, aye. Finance Chair Delahoy.
Aye.
Senators Warfa abstains. Wallen. Smith.
Aye.
Sleep.
Aye.
Iwakoti.
Aye.
Resta.
Aye.
Purple Schmidt.
Aye.
Roca.
Aye.
Paudel.
Aye.
Mollison.
Aye.
Lopez. Cadenon.
Aye.
Campson.
Aye.
Holland.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Darrench.
Aye.
Christoffels.
Aye.
Fry abstains. Bolweg. Anderson.
The ayes have it, and commemoration 25-4-C is approved. Alrighty, moving on to new business, beginning with new business item A, the Flying Jacks new venture application. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
The Flying Jacks Club's new venture fund request, Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. The Finance Committee met with 4 representatives from the Flying Jacks Club on Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 at 8 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoy, Senators Anderson, Prafula, Sharple-Schmidt, Wallen, Roca, Christoffels, Foley, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Flying Jacks Club's representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a unanimous recommendation of approving Flying Jacks Club's new venture application, awarding them an amount of $0 from the fiscal year 26 new venture fund. With the approval of the Senate, Flying Jacks Club will be placed on the general budget starting in fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The amount awarded to Flying Jacks Club for fiscal year 27 and each fiscal year following will be decided during the general budget allocation process that takes place each spring for the next fiscal year. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoy.
As this is new business, we will be voting on this next week. So, unless there are any questions not on the content of the new venture application, simply just kind of procedural questions, I would take those, or discussion on that. But other than that, we will move on to the next item. Finance Chair Delahoy.
Just for our new centers that have been here for a zero fund. So what we do with these where it says zero funding is that simply just means that we're not giving them any money from our new venture fund this year. But with our budget marathon that happens on 27-28, that's when we're going to allocate money for them for the next year. So the zero fund simply means this last year they're not getting money. They're going to be approved for our general budget, and we'll allocate their money for the next fiscal year, which runs from July 1st of 2026 here to June 30th of 2027. We'll allocate that in February. So just for clarification for our new senators that haven't been here yet with the zero fund. If you have any questions on that, let me know.
Any more discussion on that one? Senator Roca?
Can you also talk about the special allocation for like the new senators and then what's the difference between that with new venture?
Yeah, so our new venture fund is a fund that's designed to help clubs get onto our general budget. So we have a little bit of money in that for any clubs that would need immediate funding for this year. They apply for that, and that's how they get onto our general budget. And then once they're on our general budget, they will be part of the budgeting process each year and eligible to receive funds each year without having to fully reapply onto our budget. With our special allocation, which is gonna be what the next one that she introduces is, that's for like a one-time expense that a club does not normally do, or for a club that maybe is looking at doing that, but just hasn't yet decided if that's what they're gonna wanna do, so they don't wanna do a new venture yet. They just want money for this year to go to this thing. So usually it's like an event, it's like this next one, they wanna travel out and compete in the ping pong competition. So first time for them to kind of do that, they're just testing the water, seeing if this is something they wanna do. So that's kind of more of the special allocation is those one-time expenses that a club may have.
Right. Anything else on new business item A? All right, we'll move on to new business item B, the Ping Pong Club Special Allocation Fund request. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Ping Pong Club's Special Allocation Fund request, Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. The Finance Committee met with 4 representatives from the Ping Pong Club on Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 at 8 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Anderson, Shrestha, Sharples-Schmidt, Wallen, Roca, Christoffels, Foley, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Ping Pong Club representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a recommendation of approving Ping Pong Club's special allocation application, awarding them an amount of $300 from the fiscal year 26 special allocation fund of $8,500, leaving a remaining balance, if approved by the Senate, of $1,400 for the remainder of fiscal year 26, which runs from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Any questions not necessarily on the content of this allocation, rather the questions about the nature of it? All right, we'll vote on those 2 items next week. Moving on to new business item C, 2025 updated GAF budgeting guidelines. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce the first paragraph of that item? Unless we all want to be here for like 20 minutes while she reads the whole thing.
On September 22nd, 2025 updated GAF budgeting guidelines. On September 22nd, 2025, the SDSU Students Association passed Resolution 25-2-R titled South Dakota State University Students Association commits to establishing a temporary task force on internal financial reform. This task force identified several priorities, one being to review and reform the current general activity fee budgeting guidelines to match present financial practices. Below are the revised GAF budgeting guidelines to be presented to the Students Association Senate, University Activity Fee and Budgeting Committee, Vice President Michaela Willis, and finally, President Barry Dunn.
Alrighty. Would anyone request that this item be read in full?
Can I request that you just explain what was all changed, not read the whole thing, just explain.
Yeah. Requested to kind of explain simply the nature. Is there a second for that? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so one of our finance goals this year was internal finance reform. We established a task force this last semester that disbanded on December 8th because we were quickly getting our jobs done. And one of our final goals was to update the general holy grail of how we operate on GAF. So this was something that I've been working on for the past couple of months. Generally, you'll see that it's a lot of wording changes. For senators that were here last semester, it's very similar in aligning with our amendment, our big finance amendment that we had last year. But you will see, in my opinion, one of the more notable things in this update is that we did kind of codify the budget philosophy being in our documents that we follow. We just felt like that, and not only was it not in the actual bylaws of how we kind of operate, but we just felt it's such a pivotal moment of Finance Committee's year and how they want to start allocating those dollars. And then there's that. There's also, just in the past couple of years, been some policy changes regarding funding religious and political organizations. So that was a pretty big change. And then very similar, you'll see a lot of additions referencing actual board policy, just for anyone reading these. My goal behind this was to make it simple enough, yet easy enough to ask questions for student organizations to read them. And hopefully this will be front page on our website so that we can allocate or advocate for those organizations. I would like to make one note, and we're not going to be voting on this tonight, but just one note, if you would scroll down to things that GAF cannot fund, and item 5. After rereading it a couple times, the strikes can kind of be a little confusing. So I think next week we're going to propose a friendly amendment, meaning a voice vote if the Senate allows, to change the grammar of the point, essentially. Just flipping some words around so it makes sense reading aloud. And for anyone that's wondering, anything in red is added, anything strike through will be omitted. Are there any questions just regarding the simplicity of the document? All right. That'll be voted on next week. I would strongly encourage you guys to ask me questions. I've been working on this pretty hard for the past couple months, so I'd be happy to enlighten you guys. All right, moving on to, unless there's any further discussion. Okay, moving on to new business item D, commemoration 25-3-C. Chief of Staff Peterson, please introduce the second.
Commemoration 25-3-C. Title of commemoration reads, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes February 1st to February 28th as Black History Month, celebrating and honoring the month by participating in events and attending meetings hosted by the Black Students Alliance and other organizations on campus. Prime sponsor includes Diversity Liaison Alex. Sponsors include President Spear, Vice President Sierra, Chief of Staff Peterson, Finance Chair Delahoyd, Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Communications Chair Ringenberg, and Senator Christoffels.
Would anyone request this item be read in full? All right. We will be voting on that next week. Diversity Liaison Alex is very much open for any questions and comments on this document. Seeing that that is the end of new business, we'll move on to topics for future discussion. Are there any topics for future discussion tonight? All right, moving on to announcements. Any announcements tonight? Vice President Sierra.
Reminder, any seniors or people not rerunning that are interested in serving on the election steering committee, please see me after the meeting tonight.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Yeah, vote closes Friday. Get your friends to vote. Or vote yourself, yeah.
Other announcements? I would like to make an important one. It is kind of with some sadness that I am going to announce that Senator Barnett has resigned from the Senate for this semester. It was submitted with me on Monday, but unfortunately I was unable to receive that email with, I think the outage deleted a lot of my emails. So if you actually sent me an email this week and I haven't responded to it yet, please tell me. I've kind of run into this a couple times, but Senator Barnett will no longer be serving on the Senate. And also, for those of you guys that didn't attend SHED, I just want to kind of put this on the minutes as well. Senators Campson, Holland, Sharples, Schmidt, Derenge, Foley, Wallen, and Warfa. We will be attending the Board of Regents meeting on April 1st and 2nd. Because there is 7 of you plus the 3 of us that will most likely be attending, we'll probably do a motor pool vehicle so we can pool, oh my goodness, we can go there and back. It's only in Madison, so it won't be an overnight stay. And again, please sign up for GAF tabling and anything else that you might be able to do. Any other announcements? All right, do I got a motion to adjourn? Senator Smith.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, it has been motioned and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?